different. And as we have discussed already, and we have started in the last session about the application protocol, and when you take care about the application protocol is going to be or going to take care about the specific protocol who actually going to support the the transmission with respect to any of the application. For example, we have discussed about the telnet. For example, we have discussed about the NFS, SMTP and the FTP as well. Today we are going to go into the details to check how exactly the things are. And after that, as soon as we are done with this particular thing, we will start with the practicing from the beginning, so that there shouldn't be any kind of problem in understanding the concept while giving the answer as well. So let us go and take care about it. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is the link what I have shared with you, which is a security guide, Red Hat training security guide for the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And just see now why I have chosen this particular thing, because any of the application protocol, whether it is a SMTP, whether it is a NFS, whether it is a Samba or any other thing, any of the application protocol deals with your systems. Why? Because your network is going to be there, your accessibility rules are going to be there, your firewall it is going to be maintained, your intrusion detection system as well as a prevention system is going to be the part of it. So this is the document by Red Hat and it is quite nicely written. Okay, now fine. So here, that's what we are discussing from the beginning, that what is the computer security, that covers a wide area of computing and the information processing. Depend on the computer system and network to conduct daily business transactions. That's what the data loss is, and access critical information based on the Bella Padula as well as the BIBA model. You can say data as an important part of the overall assets. So several terms and metrics have entered our daily business and the total cost of ownership. So when we are taking a return on investment and quality of service, so please make sure that we are discussing always this particular thing from the beginning, as well as we have discussed a lot to take care about the risk as well as the risk, that based on what is the cost of the exploiting the exploitable data, what is the loss, or what are the things what you can afford and what are the things what you cannot afford when you are going to lose that particular information. It is really depending on total cost of ownership, the risk which is being associated, the the platform which is going to actually exploit the entire data, what is the ratio of the data being getting exploited by one particular risk, how frequently the same risk is being occurring, how I can say that, okay, what is the annual loss of expectancy, what is the single loss of expectancy. Suppose I have taken care about, okay, uh, my what you can say, the location or my data center location is quite vulnerable to fires. So in that particular sense, I need to have, okay, I need to take care about the fire extinguisher. But in that sense, you need to see, is it good to have the fire extinguisher, or I need to take care about, it is okay to lose that kind of data. Am I supposed to buy some insurance if I'm going to have the fire, or it is okay to go without the insurance? Depends on how frequently the data center location is catching the fire. What is the loss? What is the annual loss of expectancy? What is the single loss of expectancy? Depends on that I can take, or what is the vulnerability what I'm looking at. Based on that I can say that okay, these kind of security measures I need to take. This kind of security measures I can easily escape, or I can just ignore, because Indian loss of expectancy is going to be once in a year, not twice or thrice in a year. If they are frequently occurring, then I may need to take care about that particular computer security. So in that case, this is the thing what you need to look for. Every time we are going to encrypt it, we are going to put the firewalls, we are going to do the intrusion detection system, prevention system is not at all the solution. Based on what is the threat, based on what is the risk associated with that, based on how much the cost you are trying to invest into the security measures, based on the frequency of that particular incident which is happening, you are going to take a decision whether to have strict security measures or you can relax with your security measures little how. Now, in that case, standard security model known as CIA, as we have already discussed this particular thing, is a confidentiality, integrity as well as the availability. Now, so according to the documentation, what it is saying that information must be available only to the set of predefined individuals. So let me show you one thing with the basic troubleshooting with the telnet. The other day we were discussing about the telnet. This is the sysadmin by Red Hat. This is a one particular group, and Dustin Minich is the you can see the author who has written this thing. Now, in early years of computing, telnet was used to connect to the command line on the remote system. That's what exactly the SSH is going to do. The SSH is responsible to securely connect to your through your command line to the other system. But SSH works with the encryption, whereas the telnet is going to pass your credentials into the plain text format. So you can see right now how the telnet is moving. So telnet -4 means IPv4. www.redhat.com is a host name, whichever the host you would like to have, and 80 is the port number. Trying to this, and then I'm able to connect it. Server is operational and there is nothing on the network, you can say, and blocking this connection from happening, you can exit out of telnet by pressing Control and then the square bracket. As simple as that. Fine. Now, what you are trying to go for? Telnet here, if you see, this particular thing is trying to connect with the port number 80. Just look at. And this particular trying to connect with the port number 21. See here. Depending on how the remote network is configured, you may see the connection refuse message immediately. Or if the telnet sits there for a few seconds without any output, it is usually safe to assume that the connection will time out. Now, there is a problem. If you are able to see that here I am able to take care about the port number 21. In the previous example, I was able to take care with the port number 80. What is the thing? Port number 80 is for HTTP. Port number 21 is for FTP. FTP runs on two ports, 20 and 21. 20 is a control port and 21 is a data port, as well as I remember. So this is the thing what you need to address. That I can see the same what we have, we were discussing with the netstat as well. I'm able to see with the telnet that which particular port number is available. I can reach to the 21. I can reach to the 80 as well. Telnet is going to say, okay, use the IPv4 address with this particular host with the port 21 or port 80. This is the thing why we always say, because everything is really open and everything you are able to get only the remote connection. But how that remote connection is being used, that Telnet cannot control. The reason is because everything is open inside the kernel, inside the Telnet. It is the connection is also open. I can easily say connect with the port 21. I can easily say connect with the port 80. I can easily take care about that particular control over where I need to search for. And this is the thing what the SSH is not allowing you to do. SSH works with the SSH client and will as well as the SSH server. And as we have discussed, client can connect to the SSH server either through the password, either through the public key, private key, either through the Kerberos authentication, either through the LDAP. So every time the the authentication is required when you are going to take care about the what you can say the SSH. Now, cryptography software and the certificate security controls. Now, see here. If anyone asks you what are the controls you are going to have to take care about the security, often divided into the physical, technical as well as the administrative control. Now, when you take care about the physical controls, okay, I'm running a data center. I'm running the data center, and data center is quite, and we have discussed already this particular example. Data center is really need to be protected. So am I going to put the closed circuit cameras into that particular boundary, thermal alarm system, the security guard, or picture IDs to take care about the authentication or the biometric? This could be one of the major to initially access the data center in the physical mode. Now, I'm the non-legitimate user. I do not want to access the data center at all by going. I am aware of how exactly the physical security is being, deployed onto that particular location. So I need to have the technical control. Now, when you say the technical controls, so technical controls could be the encryption, could be the smart card, could be your network authentication, the way you are trying to access the network, could be the access control list, which is going to define your authentication as well as the way you are going to access it, the ACLs, and the file integrity auditing software. So if you do remember, we have discussed this particular thing that to have the identity and access management, we are going to have the identity, the authentication, the authorization, and then the auditing. If you do remember, we have discussed this particular thing. And then we are going to have the administrative control. The administrative control all levels of personnel within an organization and determine which user have access to what resources. This is what we have discussed with the what you can talk about the Bella Padula as well as the BIBA model. BIBA model and the Bella Padula is going to say that BIBA model is going to work with the integrity as we have discussed again, and Bella Padula is going to take care about the what you can say is a confidentiality. And there we have discussed this particular thing that who can access what for the reading as well as the writing. But they need to have the training and awareness, disaster preparedness and recovery plan, personal recruitment and separation strategies, personal registration and accounting. If someone asks you this particular question, I need to do the SSH, but what is the first step before I can authenticate myself? The first step is going to be the registration. The first step is going to be the account provisioning. Are you getting, my dear students, what I'm saying? The first step is going to be account provisioning, and then only I can say, okay, now this particular account is being provisioned. Now I can take care about its own authentication with respect to the given permission as well as the authorization. Anyone can ask you that what is the first step to take care about the identity and access management? The first step is always going to be account provisioning. Please make sure about it. The next thing is going to be the vulnerability assessment. Now, when you take care about the vulnerability assessment, attacker can break into nearly any systems. All the security procedures, technologies currently available cannot guarantee that any system are completely safe. Routers help secure gateway to the internet. Firewall helps secure edge of the network. Virtual private networks safely pass data in an encrypted stream. Please make sure. Anyone can ask you this particular question, that how exactly we can secure the network access. We can secure the network access by segmenting the network into the smaller subnet. That is the major, the motivation among, or that is a major motivational factor for what you can say, for the classless IP address as well. How I can take care about creating the small subnets so that it will be easier for us to monitor. Are you getting, my dear students? Shall I proceed ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay. Now, the success of each of these technologies is depending on the number of variables. Expertise of staff responsible for configuring, monitoring, and maintaining the technology. Fine, this is the very first thing. As a system, and that's why we say that system administrator and security professionals are really, they need to work hand in hand. Let me show you the configuration file to take care about this example. Just hold on. Yeah. And please make sure you need not to have the expertise in any of the thing, but make sure about that you need to have the decent knowledge for the system what you are handling. Let me share the screen, and if you would like to go, let me share this link as well. I'm trying to share the link. Just open it up at your end. Yeah. So talking about the NFS, so we are discussing the example. The example is the expertise of staff responsible for configuring, monitoring, and maintaining the technology. Now see here, NFS server, as you can see from my screen. When you are taking care about the NFS stands for network file share. I am going to share the files from the shared location over the network. It is as simple as that. The /etc export configuration file. Now, how the vulnerability can be introduced. So, see here. Now, this is the /etc exports file. Now, this particular file contains the entries to take care about host options 1, host options 2, that host options 3. Means what? Export is going to be the directory being exported. Host is going to be the host or network to which the export is being shared. Now, I can say, okay, just share this particular host with the subnet from 10.1.1.0/24. Just look at what I'm giving. 10.1.1.0/24. That means what I'm taking care about, I'm taking care about the 24, for this, it's a kind of mask. You know the network better than me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, the second case, what I want to be there as a 10.1.0.0, if I say /16. Here itself, I'm say quite lenient to configure the network and other things. So I just interchange the subnet mask from each other. So this is the lenient behavior. It's a misconfiguration which is happening to take care about the NFS. Now, the third part is going to be the options. Now, when you say the options, how the options could be? Option is going to be, now please just focus on what I'm saying. The option is going to be read only. Read only means the file system is going to be read only. You can always see the data, but you cannot change the data. You are a client. From the shared file system, you can always read the data, but you cannot change the data. That's what the blockchain also does. What the blockchain is, a simple ledger files, you can say. They are allowed to read multiple times but write once only. Why? To maintain the consistency. You are not allowed to change once the things are being written. Now, synchronization. NFS server will always work with the synchronization task. It will not return any kind of things to you until unless the changes are done by the previous request are being returned to the disk. As simple as that. W delay, it is the writing delay, so we won't discuss this particular thing. The major thing what we need to discuss is RO and root squash. Squashing the root permissions. That means you are saying that no, a normal root user from your system will not work as a root user to the other system. Squashing the root permissions prevents the root users connected remotely from having root permissions. Squashing the permissions, you won't be able to go ahead to work as a root user to the other system, even if you are working as a root user or you are trying to connect as a root user. This is the thing. And if by mistake you have given the no root squash, no root squash means do not squash the root permission. And if you do not see how exactly the vulnerability is introduced by misconfiguration. Why? Because you are saying just do not do the no root squash. No root squash means root user is able to access. Now try to see what I am saying. No root squash means root user is able to access all the root directories from one particular system to other system. Are you getting what I am trying to tell you? Hello,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
dear students. Are you getting what I am trying to tell
Ma'am,
you?
can you please repeat it all
Yeah.
once, the root squash?
Root squash means you are squashing. That means you are shrinking the root permission. Are you getting what I am trying to tell you? You are shrinking the root permissions. When you are shrinking the root permissions, so in that case, a root user from one particular system won't be able to access the access the permissions from the other system as a root user. So root partition is not going to be allowed. Normal root directories or the executables are not going to be allowed. Try to understand, you are squashing the root permission while actually connecting as a root user. So if you are working as a root user from my system, you would like to connect to the other system, your root permissions are going to be changed into the normal permissions. Are you getting me? Now, when your permissions are going to be changed as a normal permission, so even if you are working as a root user, you won't be able to access the root partition or any other executables. So this is the root squash. No root squash means just do not shrink the root permissions. Allow everything to be accessed as a root user. I hope I answered your question, Avi.
Yes, ma'am, I got it. It's Palak, ma'am.
Okay, Palak. Right?
Yeah.
So after this particular thing is done, so this is the how exactly the minimal configuration is going to introduce the different kind of vulnerabilities. Now see here, UID and GIDs are the UID numbers and the group numbers, and are supported by NFS. Fine. If I do not want the ACL, so disable this feature, specify the no ACL option. So see here what I need to have. This is the shared location. This is a /etc export file contents. This is the shared location, as you can see from my screen. This host is allowed to access this particular shared location is into the RW format and a synchronized format. By default, it is always going to be no root squash. Please make sure about it. By default, it is going to be inside the no root squash. So I need to take care about, specifically that I need to have the root squash over here. Are you getting my point, dear students? Shall we proceed ahead? So this is a sample, I can say the NFS what I have shown you, /etc export file. And you can, if you as simple as that, you can refer for the, the test as well, how exactly the things are. No need to go into the detail, no require the implementation, but you need to be aware of what each and every parameter is trying to go for. Fine. So let me show you the configuration for the what you can say for SMTP. So that's what we are handling right now. So just hold on. Yeah. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Let me share first the link with you. Okay, so Dell is asking the question. Dell, I'm sorry, I just looked at the chat window. How the root user permission can be changed automatically? This is the the property of that particular, because I am trying to connect as a root user from the different system. Are you getting? So no root squash and root squash. Root squash means this is a property of this particular parameter to shrink the permissions of the root user. And then, okay, so I have shared one particular link as well, and let me share my screen again. Fine. So I hope you must be able to see my screen. So right now, whatever the mail server generally we are actually using with the Red Hat Linux, we are using the postfix. And when you say the postfix, there are the different kind of, you can see from my screen, there are the different kind of mail server. One is the Docot as well, and another is the postfix. This is a dovecot, and another is the postfix. So we are going to talk about the postfix. Yeah. So whenever you take care about the mail server, now please focus on what I'm saying. The mail server is going to have two kinds of agents. One is going to be MTA, which is named as a mail transfer agent, and one is going to be MUA, which is named as a mail user agent, and the next is going to be MDA, which is named as a mail delivery agent, right? So there is, whenever you install the postfix at your end, it is going to create one particular file in the /etc postfix, which is named as main.cf. Now main.cf is a configuration file, and what this configuration is going to have. So that's what we need to discuss, and how exactly the vulnerability is going to be introduced. Fine. Okay. Here specifically you need to take care about these configurations. Yeah, fine. Now focus on what I'm saying right now. /etc postfix.main.cf. This is the, just hold on. Let me see if I can get the code on the GitHub for this. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, what was MUA?
MUA is mail user agent, MDA is mail delivery agent, and MTA is a mail transfer agent. Okay. So let me put, this is a link for mail the mail server, Dell. And this is a link what I've just shared with you, which contains the information about how exactly the configuration is there for the mail server. So this is the GitHub link, what I have shared just now. So this is a sample main.cf file. So what this is saying, my host name. Now my host name, that means what is the host name for my system where the mail server is running? My destination. That means what is accessible to me. Now please make sure my destination, that means if I am working as a client, so where I am supposed to reach through this particular mail. When you take care about my destination, the next thing is going to be the my networks. You need to which are all the networks which are responsible to reach to me. Please make a note on to this. What are all different networks which are supposed to reach to me? Please make sure about it. When you say my networks, fine. So here I am going to say, okay, the things which can be reached to me are from localhost 127.0.0.0. This particular information can reach to me. I can have this thing that who is going to be the relay host, smtp.gmail.com 587. Now you can introduce very nicely the different kind of vulnerabilities over here as soon as you change the my host name, as soon as you change the my networks giving the wrong subnet, as soon as you change the my destination giving the wrong destination over here. Next thing, who is supposed to originate the mails? Here I need to give what is my origin. Who is responsible to originate the mail? Is it the host name which I am trying to send, or is it some other mail server? So please make sure about, so these are that's what we are discussing. These are the configuration parameters where I can easily, if I take this particular task very lenient, then I can easily introduce the vulnerabilities. And that is the thing what it is trying to show you. The expertise of the staff responsible for configuring monitoring and maintaining the technology. So we have just now we have discussed the two things. One is the NFS, and we have discussed the telnet as well, and the other thing also the mail server. How exactly, if you change the configuration, and that's why you need to be have the decent knowledge of the system. If you change the configuration, how exactly you are going to introduce the vulnerability. The second thing is the ability to patch and update service and kernels quickly and efficiently. There was a question I was discussing with one of the students, and the question was that there are the 100 different machines which are supposed to be, uh, you know, uh, be security patched, as well as updation needs to be done. So how I need to take care about the network? So I need to make sure that these machines are not available to the outside network whenever the security patching is going to be done. Now just make sure about, we do not patch the system when it is running on the production, because that patch could be vulnerable as well. So we always put the patch onto the testing system, test it whether it is taking care about all the security vulnerabilities for which it is meant, and then only we kept it on the production. Please, as a as a vulnerability assessor, it is your responsibility that you should not test or you should not give advice to patch onto the production system. The reason behind that is production system is running right now. It is serving the customer request. If it is not going to be executed because of you did wrongly the patch management, the things are really going to be in a different mode. Are you getting, my dear students? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we are discussing the application protocols and how exactly the things are going to be. Now, dynamic state of the data system technology securing corporate resources can be quite complex. It is often difficult to find expert resources for all of your system. So domain knowledge is really, so this is mainly because each subject area of information security requires constant attention. So that is the major reason the domain knowledge for any of the application is really important. And that is the major reason why the business analyst, why the the chief officers of your business are always going to be the part of the security planning, because they are aware of domain knowledge. As a vulnerability assessor, you are not. Now, internal audit of your network and system security. Vulnerability assessment starts with the reconnaissance phase. Reconnaissance means information gathering, during which important data regarding the target system and resources is gathered. Other day also we have discussed this particular thing while discussing the penetration testing phases, that how much important the information gathering is. Without the information gathering, you cannot move ahead. The readiness phase culminates in the reporting phase, where the findings are classified into the categories of high, medium, and low risk. High risk, that means higher priority. You need to look for, because it is affecting the business. Once the everything information gathering is done, the risk is being discussed with each and every associated functionality. Then you can think about this particular functionality at the higher, this is at the medium, and this is at the low risk. And dear students, Vulnerability assessment for any of the networks are going to be divided into the outside looking in and inside looking around. Right? When performing outside looking in, you are attempting to compromise your system from outside. You are external to your company, provides you with the cracker's viewpoint. You will see the publicly routable IP addresses, systems on your DMZ. DMZ stands for demilitarized zone, which are kept isolated from your public network. Corresponds to a computer or small subnet that sits between a trusted internal network such as corporate private LAN and untrusted external network such as public internet. Right? Services accessible to internet traffic such as HTTP, FTP, SMTP and DNS. So whenever you are looking from outside to inside, the cracker points or the cracker viewpoint is being given to you to see how exactly you are trying to get the network access to your system. When you perform an inside looking around vulnerability, you are at an advantage since you are internal and your status is elevated to trusted. Please make sure about trust status is elevated to trusted, so that you are able to take care about your authentication as well as the authorization. This is the viewpoint you and your co-workers have once logged onto your system. You see print servers, file servers, database and other resources. And that is where the ethics, that is where the trust building is going to be there. Please make sure about. So inside attackers are quite costly than the outside attackers because the people are aware of the entire infrastructure, the configuration details, the way the services are getting accessed over the network. Fine, please make sure about it. Create proactive focus, find potential exploits, results in system being kept up to date, promotes growth and aids in developing staff expertise. This is a quite important thing what you need to address as a vulnerability assessor. I was having one particular question while dealing with a group of database administrators. The question was that the security auditing was getting carried out for the database, and the task is being given to the junior DBA, and junior DBA is not at all aware of how exactly the entire database is designed and what are the different kind of queries which are getting accessed to the, or which are getting which are accessing the database. So developing the staff expertise is the first thing what you need to look for when you are trying to prevent the system from the inside leniency or lenient behavior of the employees. Make sure about it. So as a vulnerability assessor, this is the second thing what you need to look for, that who is responsible to handle what and how much rigorously they have put the security functionality into effect. Are you getting my dear students? Hello. We have discussed about the Nmap. We have seen how the Nmap works. This is also we have discussed open mass. There are the 100 different tools. NICTO we have discussed in the class, right? And now in the next lecture we are going to talk about threats to the network security with respect to insecure architecture, broadcasting the network, centralized servers, and then the server security. Fine, all the students? So these are the things what are supposed to be there into your next evaluation. I'll stop here and let me have the attendance.